Great. Good afternoon and welcome to Building Blocks for Success. I'm Kim Gray, your host and facilitator, along with my co-host, Darlene Karpaski. And today we're going to be using or talking about on the topic called Money Talk, the secret to getting more clients today. And when Darlene and I talked about this topic, we knew that a lot of our audience deals with or struggles with or challenged with the money conversation. You know, that conversation where the client says, so how much? And you have this great sales pitch and you have all these wonderful benefits for them. And then you're dreading that question and then it shows up and then you either start choking or you start backpedaling or you talk yourself out of the sale. So if that's ever happened to you, we want you to know that today could be the last day that happens for you. So Darlene and I are going to help you uncover 3 powerful secrets to getting more client signups and fewer conversations. Now, I am so with this, and we know that you too are going to be excited about getting rid of these money objections. So let me introduce you to Darlene Karpaski. She's a business coach, a national board certified hypnotherapist and mindset expert who has coached, led, and trained over 6,800 individuals, professionals, and business owners to unleash their brilliance so they could turn their purpose into profitability. I want to introduce you to my friend, Darlene Karpaski, and thank you for being with us today.
Oh, Kim, it's my total pleasure to be here with you and everyone. I was really looking forward to this for many days in advance, just imagining the wonderful conversation we would have together. So, yeah, I'm just excited to, like you said, help people really be able to facilitate sales conversations where they feel good and have really wonderful outcomes.
So, Darlene, tell us how you have come upon this as a topic or soapbox, so to speak, for your business.
Yeah, I love the word soapbox, Kim. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's interesting because, I had spent some time in sales, earlier whenever I was doing, like second jobs, at the same time I was a psychotherapist. And so, I had some good training and became really successful with it, even though initially it was, it seemed really different from, doing therapy and psychology. And then, it started to dawn on me, okay, so the influence skills, I'm using to help people make changes in their lives looks an awful lot like, how we help people be able to transition from thinking about changing their lives to actually buying and investing in those changes. Then whenever, I went into my own business, what I kept finding is early on, a lot of dialogue about niching and about attracting clients. And it's something that I really, truly struggled with because I feel like we're all a diversity within. And, it's kind of hard to channel that energy. But again and again and again, it came down to the sales conversation. I had trouble attracting clients, but once I got them into the sales conversation, it went fairly well. And then over time, it got better and better. At the same time, I was talking to entrepreneurs, sales professionals, coaches, who were struggling to get the sale. And even when they really felt like they had a good connection. So I'm really passionate about it, I think also because everything out there is geared toward client attraction. But what are we supposed to do whenever you get to the really meat and potatoes of the business, which is the ability to sell, influence, and create powerful relationships with people so they want to be able to hang out with you more and spend money with you.
That's amazing. I love how you said that you were great at closing the sale, but it was getting the attraction. And for a lot of us, we can get the folks to the table, but we can't get them to make the commitment. So I'm just So that's intriguing to me. So we're going to really tap into what you know as that secret sauce that we all need in order to make the two of these come together so we have more success. And really, the bottom line is we want to help people and their families and their lives. And we can't do that if we can't be good closers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the other thing I just want to say, in addition to that, Kim, the way I look at sales and selling is that it's really become the highest form of service, because I view it as the first stage of transformation. If we can't get people through that first stage of transformation, then they never really get to create the outcomes that they really want in their lives. And instead, they kind of go back into that mindset of, well, see, it's really not going to work out for me, or I'm too busy, I'm too whatever. And they live in the excuses rather than in the possibility of stepping into a whole new life, a whole new version of themselves.
So that's why it's so important that we talk about this today. So let's go ahead and get started talking about these three powerful secrets. So the first one is, tell us the real reason that we're not signing more clients, and how we can reverse it really quickly. This one, I'm like, my ears are peaked.
Your ears are peaked. Wonderful. Yeah, well, after spending, in the early part of my business, I spent a lot of time teaching people, like the tactical marketing and sales processes, scripts and, how to meet objections and so forth. But, I kept noticing that people were struggling with it. And, I was feeling a disconnect with it too, as more of myself started coming into the picture. I think we show up in stages over time. But not showing up powerfully is the real reason that people struggle to sign up clients. So showing up, number one, okay? So there's a couple pieces of it. Showing up, being really fully present in your body, in the conversation, and not having those, 500 words a minute. That's what studies have revealed, that we're talking to ourselves in our heads at the rate of 500 words per minute.
Wow.
And so you say, okay, so if we're having these 500 words per minute in our head, like, who's actually having the conversation with the prospective client? So showing up, really getting your physiology, your body to cooperate with being in this conversation rather than any other conversation, negative conversation, worried, feeling like, oh, gee, is this going to go south again? Or am I really going to get a client? And all of that, energy kind of coming in. Showing up powerfully, the powerfully part is that what I noticed is that, in the early part of my business, I work with people around finding their niches. And although we could find a niche, there was still something missing. And, they did well, they did well, but I noticed that they weren't showing up as powerfully. And when I talk about showing up powerfully, what I mean is, we live our businesses from the point of view. Most people live their businesses from the point of view, like, here I am, and this is how many clients I have. And over here is how much I want to earn, how many clients I want to serve, and, what I want to do with, the success I achieve. So that's over here. And so there's always a distance between us and really fulfilling our purpose and our mission to the degree that, we were called to. And so showing up powerfully means knowing your mission and purpose beyond a shadow of a doubt, so that you no longer feel this distance. You're living that success and that contribution in the world as if it's already done. It's already happening in the here and now. And something amazing really happens for the people I work with, and has happened for me through these processes that I take people through. And that is when you show up and own your brilliance. That's what sells, because the first thing we're selling is us. And it's really hard to feel good about having a sales conversation when you don't believe fully with your entire being what you're selling.
I love that.
Because we're selling the relationship first. Us.
With ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that power is so important. If you don't believe it, if you don't believe it's going to work, if you don't believe that the results can happen with your help, if you don't believe that, then it's going to come across. You can't fake that. And
yes.
People can tell, like, dogs and children can smell when someone's not being genuine, but it can come out in your energy and maybe your body language, right? And I so agree. Yes.
Yeah, it leaks into the conversation, Kim, and clients are like interpersonal detectives. Like you said, they can smell or they can sense. And it doesn't matter, like if you psych yourself up beforehand and say, I got this, I know I got this, that's a whole different energy than embodying your brilliance, and really tapping into the other 90% of your resources, your success blueprint, if you will, and letting that exude from you so that you are already the being that is living your entire mission now, not once you get there. And so that's the most important part of the work. And I'll tell you, for me, a total switch flipped. It flipped, my whole life flipped upside down. And it just began like with, a faithful prayer of, God, let me be brilliant. Let me show up, let me be visible. Let me be everything you called me to be. And throw away everything that limits me from being the light that I am supposed to be right here, not right now, not somewhere in the future. And I prayed it with everything in me, every day, over and over and over, because I was tired of being afraid. I was tired of not showing up. I was tired of waiting when the promise, the light was already in me to deliver. But when you grow up, you've got a rough upbringing and, you've had some hard times in life, it can kind of chip away at, really being in touch with that energy.
And so to reverse it fast, to reverse this real reason around showing up confidently and powerfully, how can we reverse it quickly?
Well, I gave you, just one thing from my own experience, and that is, whatever your spiritual beliefs, whatever spiritual beliefs ground you and guide you, say a powerful prayer, ask for all of it, that it be done now, that you live from your future successful self.
It's as simple as it sounds. I stand on that too. I believe in prayer, the power of prayer, and that we cannot be who we need to without God's help. I'm sorry, it just isn't going to happen in the best way. We can stand on that wheel like we're on a hamster wheel, trying to make it happen, trying to make it work. And if we keep doing that, we're going to run ourselves crazy. But like you said, if we relax and step into our prayers and let God take over, it's going to happen so much quicker and with so much less effort. And we can show up more confidently, powerfully, and authentically. You're absolutely right. Thank you.
Yeah. And the second piece of that is saying it out loud. When I added the out loud component and my clients started adding the out loud component and the prayers, it's already done. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful new clients who are working with me. I'm so thrilled to be fulfilling on my mission. You hear it's all present tense. And, some people look at language as, well, yeah. It's way different because when you say it out loud, you activate the vibration. So it's not only in your head, it's out here, and you can hear it. So that amplifies the truth of it, and it activates different parts of your brain. So we want all of your brain online whenever you're out there looking to create more service in the world and bring in more clients in your business.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing. I love that. So let's look at the second secret. So let's share and talk about how we can dissolve those money saboteurs that keep us from living our big mission. B-I-G, big mission.
Sure. Yeah. When I first started working with people around, what got in the way of them meeting their goals and really living the big lives that they wanted, whether it was love or finances or, just bringing in more clients. 4 fire-breathing saboteurs would start rearing their heads whenever people would get close to up-leveling or going to the next level. They're fire-breathing dragons because they kind of keep your energy dimmed down and keep you from doing what you want to do in spite of working really hard. So we're using activity, a lot of action, and only a small portion of our brains that are tapped into what I call captivity blueprints. And each of these dragons represent a captivity blueprint. And so number 1, captivity blueprint is wealth esteem. Number 2 is lone wolf. Wealth esteem, I think, is self-explanatory. It's how you feel about money, how you feel about worth. Lone wolf is like you're doing everything in and of your own power. There's a lot of shame based around this, that I should be able to do this all by myself. I had it myself. A lot of the clients I work with have this captivity blueprint. And the fear, and the 2 fears, and that is fear of failure and fear of success. So, one part of you, wants the success, the truth is you don't have the blueprint activated within you. It's there from birth. But, the captivity blueprints we learn from our parents from the age of 1 through 7, because we have mirror neurons, so all of their beliefs and many generations of beliefs from, past ancestors about money, what it means, what it's like to get it, receive it, and is it okay? So those are the kinds of things that get in the way.
So how can we dissolve them?
Well, I do it a couple of ways with people. As you mentioned, I'm a hypnotherapist. And so one of the ways I work with people is to, go in and help them access their dormant success blueprint. And that really is any time in the past when they were really on fire, creating wonderful things in their lives. Signed a client, got recognized for doing something really amazing, and then really wiring that in so that becomes their automatic go-to rather than, those fire-breathing dragons with the captivity blueprints. So one way that you can begin the process.
So let's say fear of success. Let's use that one.
Okay.
As a money saboteur. Because a lot of us want the success, but we're really not sure what it means. And then we get afraid our business is going to grow so big, I'm not going to be able to know what to do. So, right, we limit. Okay, so how about that one?
That's a great one, Kim. So the first thing that came to my mind around the success saboteur, success blueprint is all about forgiveness. So I have a forgiveness to financial freedom process I like to take people through, but it goes like this, and this is something that you can start to do, using your own beliefs and processes. So with success, so many times, we have looked at successful people or people who have money or what have you, and we've judged them. We've negatively judged them or we've compared ourselves to them and then felt the distance between us and felt that negative hit. So the first place is really to forgive ourselves. And that's for, judging people. Judging people draws that negativity into yourself more deeply. And it really makes success seem something that's bad or wrong. And so it's no wonder, you're working really hard, but there's a part of you that's like, I don't want to be bad or wrong. I could never do what he does. And that's where we shortchange ourselves. That energy is directed outside of ourselves. So really forgiving ourselves for judging the other people and forgiving ourselves for making, sales and selling and money into bad guys when they can be used for the highest good possible.
Wow.
So really a forgiveness process around that.
That's pretty huge, because that's exactly what happens. I know for me, I see successful people and I see the lives they lead. And I see the negative stuff that happens too. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be that person. If that's what success means, I don't want to be that person. So I want to be this person, but I don't see this person as being as successful because I'm not willing to do these things. So I know I limit myself because I say my level or my definition of success doesn't equate to that. But that's the only picture I see.
Yeah. Yeah, you're seeing like one sliver, of their lives, but whatever it might be. When there's judgment, you hold yourself at a distance from it. Okay.
I see.
And you create the neural pathways that say, no, this is not something we will do. And that's why you can work 3 times as hard as you've ever worked in your life. Ask me how I know. Can work 3 times as hard as I worked 3 times as hard as I ever did, in trying to, create my business in the beginning. And it was painful. And then, whenever I hit a wall and slide down, I had these awarenesses and realizations. And that was, hey, you can't judge success and money is wrong and bad and have it come into your life.
That's cool.
They're not the bad guy. So there's a lot of healing, around, the money and sales saboteurs that I think that we, get to be a part of. Yeah, talk about like business. Growing your business is, a huge rite of passage. And there are certain thresholds, that we need to cross before we stand in our power and really live our mission in a way that when we speak, people are drawn to us and they feel attracted to the possibility of spending more time with us. And when we exude, we don't call in from outside of us, but when we exude love and acceptance for all people, whether they're, financially free or they're not financially free, it just creates a space within you that's very magnetic.
Yes. Wow. All right. So we need to get to the 3rd secret.
Okay.
So this is the one we've all been waiting for, is the number 1 secret. Number 1 secret to signing more clients in fewer conversations. Now, I know I can usually do it in 2. Maybe most times 1, but definitely 2. So what's the number 1 secret you have to signing more clients in fewer conversations?
Sure. So the number 1 secret has to do with something that, most purpose-driven entrepreneurs find very counterintuitive. And, it goes against, how we're wired. Those of us who are called to serve do so because we love giving and we love creating hope and lightening other people's loads. And so the number 1 way is to create the circumstances in your sales conversation where you allow people to go back into the pain and vivify it to a very large extent, deepening their awareness and sense of the pain in their lives. You see why I call it counterintuitive?
Yes, because we took them to the pleasure to understand the solution that we can help to relieve the pain. But then you're saying, but you want to bring them back into the pain.
No.
No?
Talk about the solution beforehand. There's timing and presentation to this.
Okay.
Of when you bring the solution in. And you never bring in the solution or talk about your customized, flexible offers that you create. That's the other thing is, it's not about creating, a rigid offer. It's really taking the language and what they're sharing with you and customizing your package and program around who they be. But the timing and presentation, really vivifying that pain before you get to the part where you're asking people, out of this conversation, what's been the most helpful so far. And when I talk to people and I have my clients using this, people always say it's that you really helped me illuminate what I've been avoiding, because they know they're avoiding it. And that's where they need to go before they say yes to change.
So what's that one phrase, sentence that you, if you were reviewing, culminating the conversation, how do you get them to that moment? Is there a phrase, sentence that you could share? As an example?
Really, like the most important thing you can do is when, you're talking to them about where they're at now in their lives compared to, the vision of what they want to create. When you're talking to them about where they are now, you want to be able to go deeper into that part of the conversation. Like, how long have you been in this place? And what kinds of ways is this influencing the rest of your life? And really asking, what else? What else is standing in your way? What else has been holding you back? Sometimes I'll spend 20 or 30 minutes with someone just around this and reiterating what they're sharing with me, but using their language, the very, I call them secret language codes that people use, their imagery, their power words, and whether or not their preferred communication and processing style is auditory, visual, or more tactile and kinesthetic.
Okay. So in doing this, using this process, you believe and have known this to be true, that in doing this, you can get your clients to sign in to work with you quicker.
Yeah, 8 or 9 people out of 10 conversations.
That's really amazing. That's really amazing.
And I have a woman I'm working with who's a brand new coach, and she used this process to sign up a client into her high-end program right out of the gate.
Got you.
And she really loved the the intuitive selling process, because I have a sign up success framework, and she loved that it had structure. And she said in a couple of conversations she had before we worked together, she could see like where she was really rushing people to the sales altar too soon. And that's what I mean about timing and presentation, and really cultivating a state of readiness in the person that you're speaking with. Because most of the time, people, an example is, I spoke to, a woman who, she was using so much positive thinking. She really never would let herself get to the place where, she experienced pain. So that really is what prevents people from making the next change. So you can do it in 2 ways. You can kind of go, really and feel your pain so much that that's what stands in your way. or, you know, you can be so positive that you're not dealing with what's right in front of you. So we need to help people, you know, break out of the place where they, you know, as soon as they touch down in pain, they're running off in one of two directions, you know, to protect and avoid, because that's what keeps them living the same, you know, defeating experiences over and over again. I feel that, you know, it's our obligation to be the best, you know, in influence and communication, so that we can help more people cross into the lives that are waiting for them.
Darlene, this has been so enlightening for me, and I know that you've prepared a special gift for folks. It's your free sales conversation success guide. Where can they go to get that if they'd love to learn the rest of the other secrets you're sharing with us about mastering this money talk?
Sure. I think I'll just pop it into the chat here, and then I'll say it out loud. So it's Master the Money Talk, how to turn more conversations into new clients. And you can find it at yourmission2money.com/master-sales-conversations.
And we'll put it in the Facebook group. We'll put it in the comment area underneath this recording when it comes out.
Oh,
so
great.
Have that.
Right.
And if they also want to become more involved with you, you also have a free Facebook group called Big Success Business Owners that they can join. And tell us a little bit about who your audience is in that group, and the benefits of being in your group.
Yeah, sure, Kim. Well, you know, Big Success Business Owners is about to become, you know, extraordinary entrepreneurs and business owners. So, you know, everything in life is a process of metamorphosis. And I believe that we're all in a process of metamorphosis all the time. And so my group is really about helping people to wake up and to tap into, you know, those hidden resources that we all have, those God-given gifts that are part of our lives, but we only get to see and channel every once in a while. And so that's part of it. The other part of it is really just having some strategies where, you know, you can kind of pull yourself out of some of the hypey, used car saleswoman type sales tactics, and really pull yourself into embodying who you need to be in order for people to be drawn to working with you, because your energy speaks louder than your words. So everybody has deep value, and I love helping people wake that up. So if that feels good to you, I'd love to have you come and play, you know, in the Big Success Business Owners group. It would be a lot of fun.
Well, I know I've enjoyed being in the group, and I love how responsive and active in the group you are. So if folks want to be able to engage with you on a bigger level, absolutely come join the group, because I know that you're actively involved in that on a daily basis. Well, that is it for us today, my dear. Any final words you want to share before we close out?
You know, I really feel very blessed to be here with all of you. It's, for me, this is the biggest and most wonderful thing I can do in life, is to be a part, you know, of your mission to create more healing, more change, more up-leveling in the world. It really helps to nurture my soul. And I want to thank you so deeply for that. And Kim, thank you for being a wonderful host today. And I know that you bring out the best in me whenever we get together. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. And we will put the link to your Facebook group also down underneath the Facebook Live when it comes out, so folks can get to you whenever they want to.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much again.
Have a great day.
I will. You too. Bye now.
Bye.